In Pokemon GO 2022, we saw some incredible new features, including the daily incense, elite raids, the return of in-person events, Cowboy Hat Snorlax. It was a big year, but that was all in the past because it's 2023, baby. And there are hopefully some massive updates on the way that will make last year feel silly. Like the level cap increasing from 50 to 60, which honestly is something that should happen standard annually. 10 new levels per year. Levels 41 through 50 were released back in December of 2020. Over 2 years ago. I personally hit level 50 in May of 2021, and it was a sick video and moment. And although most players still haven't reached it, myself and a lot of people are kind of big chilling at level 50. Expanding the level cap would just give everyone a huge big new milestone to work towards, and it's definitely well overdue. And it would be hard, and take players even like myself who play every day a really long time to get. Level 50 required nearly 9 times more XP than level 40, from 20 million at level 40 to 176 million total at level 50. I could only imagine what level 60 would be like. A new feature that we're actually guaranteed to see this year, and one that I'm really excited for, is Primal Reversion. For the first time ever, Primal Pokemon are being released in Pokemon GO, and it's happening this month! This will be done through a brand new system called Primal Reversion, which will work exactly like how Mega Pokemon and Mega Energy does. Complete Primal raids to get Primal Energy, which you can then use to evolve Pokemon into their primal forms. Although this technically isn't new news, it's still exciting, because this means we might see some new form and evolution mechanics released into Pokemon GO for other Pokemon, other new Pokemon, like Black and White Kyurem. In order to get these Pokemon in the main series games, you have to use a DNA splicer. To get Black Kyurem, you'd splice together a Kyurem and a Zekrom, and then for White Kyurem, you'd splice a Kyurem and a Reshiram. Although this feature is not implemented into Pokemon GO quite yet, it could happen sooner than you think. Because if you head into the Pokemon GO Pokédex and check out Kyurem, you can see that there are empty sections below Kyurem for both Kyurem Black and White. Maybe we see the DNA splicer released into Pokemon GO as a part of Professor Willow special research? Or maybe Black and White Kyurem just simply come to raids. We'll have to wait and see. Something we hopefully won't have to wait and see is a Ready Up button for raids. This is one of the most asked for updates ever, and it would help a ton. All of your friends are already loaded up into the raid? Just hit the Start Raid button. And once everyone does it, the raid timer goes down to 5 seconds, and then the raid begins. This would be especially helpful for a brand new feature that was released last year, Elite Raids. The hard part about Elite Raids is that they happen for pretty much 1 hour at a time, which means you really have to sprint from raid to raid if you want to get a lot and catch a lot of whatever the featured legendary or mythical Pokemon is. So being able to skip a majority of the raid countdown timer would be huge in terms of time efficiency and huge for players who want to grind. Also, these are in-person raids, so it would just be easier to coordinate with everyone that's in the raid lobby with you to start the raid. Another feature I find a lot of players asking for is the ability to speed up or mass evolve. Evolving a Pokemon in Pokemon GO takes roughly 30 seconds once all the animations are complete. That means that during a spotlight hour where there's 2 times evolution XP, you can at most evolve 120 Pokemon. And that's if you're like freaking powering through the evolutions. Imagine being able to just batch evolve Pokemon, essentially selecting a handful of Pokemon and then evolving them all at once. Or letting the game carry out some sort of like auto evolve feature. To keep this fair, you'd probably only be able to mass evolve like a couple Pokemon at a time, but it would still be massive. And a more realistic version of this would be simply just being able to speed up the evolution screen and animation. In 2022, the game became a whole lot faster and more efficient. You can even now speed up the egg hatching animation when you're hatching eggs, which is a game changer. So why not implement that for evolving? Hit the evolve button and then just tap the screen to make it go faster. And technically, you could just do the same thing with trading. It takes way too long to trade in Pokemon GO currently. You need literally hours if you're gonna try to hit your daily trade cap limit, but simply being able to tap on the screen while trading and speed up the entire trade system would be and make life 100 times better. And I would definitely trade a lot more. Lately, we've had a ton of egg-centric events in Pokemon GO, which has honestly been fun. I've been hatching a ton and I've been getting some pretty good Pokemon because of it. And there's one major feature that we don't have yet that would make all of this recent egginess so much better. Breeding. Breeding is a fundamental part of the main series Pokemon games. But we're 6 years into Pokemon GO and we still don't have it. Why? Mainly because eggs are as close to a loot box system in Pokemon GO as you could get, which no doubt generates a boatload of money, so why would they destroy that? But it would be cool and I guess fairly balanced if you could only breed Pokemon who had Pokemon in the eggs, currently in the eggs. For example, You could breed 2 Lucario for special 7-kilometer Riolu eggs only when Riolu is featured in the 7-kilometer eggs. And to stay true to the Niantic mission of going out and exploring, in order to breed, you'd have to go out into the world and find a new building called a nursery, which would be like a POI, like a gym or a Pokestop. There you'd be able to drop 2 Pokemon off, let them breed, and then come by later to pick up the egg. Different Pokemon would take a different amount of time to breed, most likely based on rarity, kind of like how kilometers walked is for a candy. So like 2 Lucario would take roughly 8 hours to produce an egg, where 2 Pidgeot would take like an hour. This would really shake things up for Pokemon Go and make hatching honestly fun, because right now it feels like gambling and losing with every batch. Speaking of new POIs on the map, what about Pokemon Centers? This could be a place where you go to revive all Pokemon without using items, get special deals on in-game items like raid passes, and maybe even sell certain items for XP, Stardust, Pokcoins. There also could be like fun small mini games or mini quests to pick up at the Pokemon Centers, which would honestly give the game a lot more depth and give players a lot more to do on a day-to-day rather than just catch Pokemon. That reminds me of another potentially fun feature we might see hopefully this year: Pokcoins. Or more specifically, more ways to earn them. Back in 2020, Pokemon Go tested a new Pokecoin earning system in Australia. The maximum coins you earned per day from defending gyms was 30, and the max Pokecoins you got per day from completing tasks in the Today view was 20. Yes, you were actually able to complete tasks to generate Pokecoins, rather than like mindlessly dropping off your Pokemon in a gym and praying they get knocked out in a day. And obviously, more ways to earn more Pokecoins would be really helpful to a majority of players, especially with how the value of the in-game shop has steadily declined this past year, plus with the increase of egg-centric and raid-centric events lately. The obvious downside is that Niantic would just make less money from players spending, which is kind of a big downside. We'll see if they ever implement anything ever again for Pokecoin generation. But it's been over 2 years since an attempt has been made, so maybe this is the year we see another shot at a new Pokecoin earning system. 3 words: Cowboy Hat Caterpie. If you've ever been on Pokemon Go Twitter, you'll know this account and the memes surrounding it. Cowboy Hat Caterpie, or Mike Nerdlaw, is a Pokemon Go enthusiast who has been passionately petitioning for the release of Cowboy Hat costume Caterpie for years now, and in 2022, we got close. During Pokemon Go Fest, we saw the release of Cowboy Hat Snorlax, which didn't really fit the theme or the event or the location at all. It kind of felt like a slight tip of the cap to Cowboy Hat Caterpie. It's not too far off to assume we will see the release of this meme costume Pokemon this year. Recently, we were given a new update, which is honestly pretty cool, and gave us the ability to see what caused the spawn of a certain Pokemon. For example, if a Pokemon spawned on a lure, you would see that lure icon next to the name of that Pokemon during the encounter screen. So you now know whether a Pokemon spawned because of a lure, a glacial lure, your daily incense, your normal incense. And a great next quality of life step in this department would be letting us see how long a lure has left on it. You can see your incense duration, lucky egg, star piece, mega evolution duration, but you still have no idea how much longer a lure has left on it. This would be a really minor, obviously, quality of life update, but it's just one that makes sense. And those are a handful of updates I'd love to see in Pokemon Go 2023. If there's any more you think would be cool, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and watch these other videos on screen. Watch them, they're fun. See you in the next one. Take care, friends.